Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dream Highway podcast. I am so excited today because I've got Gaby Abdelgadir on the line with me, and she is the declutter queen. And I think this is just the perfect time of the year to have a conversation about that. Gaby is a certified Jack Canfield Success Principles trainer. She's a certified Lin Method clutter clearing coach, Feng Shui practitioner, ooh la la, looking forward to that, and an award-winning author, a motivational speaker, and just an absolutely wonderful person. Gaby, welcome to the Dream Highway podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Steve. Glad to be
Certainly.
here.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm so excited you're here. Gaby, let's just jump right in. Tell me, what are you doing in your life right now that you're super excited about and super passionate about?
I am right at this moment. I am passionate about helping people, teaching people the importance of declutter,
Mm,
especially now that we're approaching the holidays and the new year.
mm,
It's a good time to start the new year clutter free. And when I talk about clutter, it always starts at home
mm-hmm,
because everything we hold in our home has an energy. It could
mm.
be a negative energy, it could be a positive energy or neutral energy. So we need to take care of all that. And then we have to declutter our time, declutter our mind, and declutter our relationships.
Wow. All
So
right.
that's
So,
one of the things I'm
yeah,
excited about.
yeah, and that does sound exciting. It sounds like we got plenty to talk about on this episode. So that's really exciting. What sort of made you get into this? Like, what inspired you to want to, get into the declutter space?
Declutter space. Actually, the declutter certification came after I did the feng shui classes. So I grew up in a home where only me and my brother, and my mom was a clean and organization freak.
Hmm.
If my white shirts, like they were not in the same length and there was like another color in between, that is a big time out for me, to the extent that it was annoying. And she had a habit of moving furniture every 3 months or so. And I
Interesting.
remember the nannies used to be so mad, oh my God, your mom is going to kill us, and things like that when I come from school. So I didn't understand then, but there is a huge thing about moving furniture
Mm.
around, especially feng shui based. It changed the energy in the home. So how I got the Lin method certification, it just, when the universe is meant for you to do something, it just flows.
Sure.
So I did the feng shui training first. I don't know if you ever watched the movie The Secret. Did you watch that movie?
It's been a while,
A
yes,
while, yeah,
yeah,
long
but I've
time
seen it.
ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I did watch that movie, and I saw the lady, Marie Diamond, talking about relationships and how to attract and all that. I thought that was interesting, but it was not a good time in my life at that time. So I said I have to check it out, and then I did check it out when it was a bad time in my life. So I lost my husband for cancer,
Sorry to hear that.
and my son was 8, and there was this one particular night that he begged me to get him out of the hospital in his last 4 weeks. He said, I want to sleep at home for one night. Can you talk to my doctor? So I
Mm.
did. She let us do it, gave me like a bag full of medications, brought him home. And then I lay him down, go to the kitchen to make some soup, because he couldn't eat salt with all the chemo and things like that, to make him some soup. And then I just went in like 20 minutes later to check on him. Blood was coming out of his mouth.
Mm.
It just flew out like in the pillow and the bed and on the floor. And then I screamed. I called the
Mm.
hospital. They told me to bring him right away. Anyway, so that memory, he ended up passing away 3 weeks after that. I had to return him right back to the hospital because he lost
Mm-hmm.
so much blood. He didn't get to sleep at home. But after he passed away, that day kept waking me up. Like it
Mm.
was a nightmare for me. It would wake me
Sure.
up at night, right? So,
Yeah.
And then one day, my friend, she was not in here, like she was in another province. She goes to me, you need to see a feng shui expert. Maybe she can help you. So I ended up hiring one.
Now, that's really interesting because when I'm not really familiar with, this feng shui at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
To me, it seems like kind of like arranging things in your home. So it seems like, wow, that seems like a really strange, a very bizarre recommendation.
It is.
My husband just passed away. I'm really struggling. Go see a feng shui. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, she came. Listen to this. She comes in. She immediately, when she walks in, she sees this beautiful art that a good friend of mine bought it for us when we bought our condo. It's a very expensive art. And this art is a woman holding a boy. Listen to this. She looked at this picture, this woman, before even she stepped even further to the living room or anywhere. She goes to me, are you married? I said, I am actually a widow. She goes to me, how many children do you have? I said, one. A boy or a girl? I said, a boy. She goes to me, this is what you were telling the universe, raising a boy by yourself. She goes to me, you need to get it out like ASAP. She
Wow.
walks in, there was another gift, a woman holding a boy. So I had two of them hanging in the wall. I was so shocked. So,
Yeah,
and
that's
then she
definitely a
moved
wake-up call.
around. Yeah, she moved around every corner of the room, every kitchen, everywhere. And she made me move a lot of things. She made me, she gave me a list of what to buy and where to place them. And she said she will come back and visit me in 2 weeks. I got busy. First of all, like I was so scared, and then it reminded me the movie The Secret, and I took those two pictures. My friend doesn't even know because she would kick my butt because it's such a it's such an expensive art. I had to
Sure.
take it down to the garage where the recycling is. When I went to my car, it was gone. Like people had already taken it because I couldn't gift it to somebody because that's negative energy.
Oh,
Like I'm
totally.
just
Yeah, that
gifting
makes
it. Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
I did that and I got busy purchasing the stuff, the list that she gave me, placing them where she did. As soon as I did the last bit, which was very hard to find, that was the first night I slept through the night without nightmare. That made me a believer.
Yeah, I
I
was just gonna say
Googled,
you can't knock that evidence, you know.
exactly. So I just Googled Mary Diamond and I did her basic courses and then I did the advanced course. Once I finished those, the Lynn method just popped up in my email. This is when the universe just puts things together for you.
When the
I
student
was
is
a
ready, the
follower.
teacher will
Yeah,
appear.
I know. So I was a follower of Denise Lynn for years in the Hay House Radio. She's written over 18 books. She also loves feng shui, but her method of clutter clearing is a spiritual way of doing it. It's just not about throwing things. So yeah, so it just happened. I signed up, I got certified, passed my exam, got certified, and here I am.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's such an incredible story.
Thank
It's such
you.
a very meaningful, foundation to why you're doing what it is that you're doing.
Yeah,
And you did mention, uh, is it Lynn? What's her first name?
the Lynn method, Denise Lynn.
Denise, right? That's what.
Yeah, Denise
And
Lynn.
and I saw on your website that you have a quote from her. I think you kind of referred to this from a. She says, from a spiritual perspective, letting go of physical stuff
Yeah,
equates with letting go of emotional stuff from
yes.
your life. In
Yeah,
truth, clutter clearing is never about the stuff. It
no.
addresses other things going on beneath the surface. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, like for example, I went to here, like in Toronto, I do home visitations as well, right? So I went in and this woman was really having a difficult time. Like she's successful and everything, but for some reason there was something missing. So I went in and I told her like, oh, that's a beautiful vase. She had a beautiful vase. And she goes to me, yeah, but it was given to me by this woman. I can't stand it anymore. We were friends and then she ended up hurting me. And this is what you're carrying in your home. If this object, it's beautiful, yes, it was given to you by an old friend who ended up being kind of your enemy or whatever, why are you holding on to it? Because every time you pass by it, what you think about is it how that person hurt you.
Sure.
What we hold in our home has an energy.
Yeah.
So you get rid of it. What you do it, you bless it, give it away. Either you give it away, but you have to bless it, remove the thing, remove the
The
feeling,
negative energy, right?
bless it, yeah,
Yeah.
or like donate it. So this is just one example of the things we carry in our surroundings affect our emotions,
Yeah.
affect our relationships, affect our health.
Man, and this is so deep and so true. I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I have a song on one of my on my album called "Energy Is Everything,"
Oh,
and
really?
yeah,
I want to
and
hear it.
yeah, it's so. I think, well, it's so, this energy that you're talking about is on such a subconscious level, but it's there.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very real.
Yeah, it is.
And every time that you, and it's just kind of funny, I'm not going to talk about specifically what it is, but I just noticed something out of the corner of my eye.
Uh-huh.
It's an item that goes back to when I was a teenager. And that item carries hugely significant meaning for my life. And oh my gosh, yeah. So when this is just making so much sense that there's so many things in your home that carry so much energy that you may be completely unaware of.
Unaware of, yeah.
Yeah.
And subconsciously it's affecting you somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Either in a positive way or a negative way,
Or a negative way, yeah.
right? And we don't know unless we sort of go through, right? Go through our home and our items and say, what kind of a memory, what kind of energy do I associate with this,
You're
right?
associate, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. You also mentioned on your website about this idea of a spiritual way of decluttering your life,
Yeah.
and I think this whole thing is just so fascinating because to the uninitiated, which would be me and probably most people, is that when you think of decluttering, like you just think about stuff like, oh, I've got a bunch of junk in my house that I got to get rid of, right? Or you know, I don't think people tend to really understand that there's a huge, primarily a spiritual component to this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
talk about
thing
that a little bit.
is, when you accumulate a lot of stuff, in most cases that you're not actually using in your daily, you're not using it daily or weekly, it's actually a negative affirmation, Steve, because what you're saying to the universe is, I don't need it now, but I may need it in the future. That's a negative affirmation. There is no need for it right now, but there may be a need for it in the future. That is an affirmation of lack.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sounds like a scarcity,
Yeah.
right? I'm afraid to let this go because I'm afraid if I need it in the future, I
Yes.
won't have the means to acquire it.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
is a negative affirmation. And then, so people tend to do that and tend to hold on to things they don't need and they don't use. So what we teach is you hold on to something and see how you feel when it comes to items. When it comes to clothing, that's a different story. If you haven't used it for a year, you didn't wear that shirt for a year or a year and a half, or it's a different size right now, you lost weight, you put on weight, why are you holding on to it? So the spiritual
Because
way
I'm going to lose
is,
that weight
I
again.
know. So the spiritual way is that you thank it. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for serving me. And I want you to be of good service to someone else. Fold it nicely with respect, with love and light, and put it in a box and send it to Salvation Army,
Yeah,
or like, you know, the anywhere like where people could, a lot of people can't afford to buy a shirt for $100 or $200,
sure.
and Salvation Army, they could pay $5. It could make somebody's day.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because I've been
So
there. I've
yeah,
been to Salvation Army or Goodwill, and like,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
yeah,
what an incredible blessing. I mean,
yeah,
right now we've got air filters, air purifiers
yeah,
in our home that are really, really, really expensive air
yeah.
purifiers that we spent $10 on.
Yeah.
So because somebody let that go, like
Yeah.
you're saying,
Yeah.
man, this
And
is
it became
so
of
deep.
use to you. Yeah. So always when you give something, when you let go of something, make sure you bless it. Because
Hmm.
what the energy we give, it comes back to us multiplied. Whether
Sure.
it's negative energy we send out, positive energy we send out, blessing we send out, it does come back to us multiplied, guaranteed.
Man, that's so
Yeah.
good. Whew.
Am I stressing you out?
Well, no, no, no. I'm beginning to realize more and more just how, like, but it's so freeing, right? When you
Yeah,
let this
it
stuff
is.
go.
Yeah. And
What?
then you're making space for new things to show up in your life,
Hmm.
for new abundance to show up in your life.
Yeah.
If your drawers are stuffed up, your closet is stuffed up, you're not making space for new stuff to come to your life.
Is there a place that where you usually recommend people to start? Like, if I'm going to start decluttering, is it, do you start with the mind or do you start with a particular, do you start with the closet or where would you
Okay,
start even?
so yeah, the mind will be, when you start decluttering, I always advise it starts with the master bedroom.
Okay.
Master bedroom. That
No,
is where I
nothing
start.
is off limits.
Yeah, so that is where I normally I would. The three most important places are the entrance, kitchen, and master bedroom.
Okay.
Every space in the home is important, but those three are the most important ones. So I always advise them to start with the master bedroom,
Okay.
because what you have in your master bedroom, in your bedroom, it goes to your subconscious mind while you're sleeping. So you better be looking at something good, something positive, something beautiful before you go to sleep and when you wake up.
Well, fortunately, I've got my wife to look at when I go to sleep and when I wake up, and she's beautiful. So,
Oh, that
check.
is so sweet. Yeah, I know, I know. But what, do you have pictures in your bedroom?
I do, and what I was going to ask. Now, we've never had a television in our
Yeah,
bedroom.
that's not a good idea anyway. Okay.
Right, right, and that's what I was going to ask. I would assume not.
No.
What we've got in our bedroom is actually photographs of nature that I've taken.
Okay.
So we've got butterflies and deer and just all kinds of beautiful photographs
Okay.
that are not only are the photographs themselves beautiful, but because I took them, I'm I remember, like, I have that energy of,
Energy.
right, of, for example, like one of the or a couple, I think maybe a couple of the pictures are of a sunrise over Lake Michigan, and so every time I see them, I remember, just because that was such an incredibly beautiful experience, being
Yeah.
on the lake, seeing the sunrise. So the picture is not only a beautiful picture, like I said, but it just brings me back to that energy
So
that I
that
had.
energy makes you
Yeah.
happy. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those kind of pictures, mountains, trees are
Yeah.
very good in the bedroom. What we try to say is like oceans and seas and things like that in the bedroom, because they're kind of connected to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind, anything to do
Sure.
with water, it's better to have them in the living room or like, in family room and things like that. But anything with nature
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely beautiful in the bedroom.
Yeah. And I would imagine probably more serene pictures, right? Like
Yes.
you wouldn't want, like, I'm picturing in my mind right now this picture where there's like a lighthouse and there's like these crashing waves on the lighthouse, and it's just this torrential storm, but the whole, you know, idea of it, of course, is that you've got this lighthouse that's there standing firm, but there's a lot of intense energy to
Yeah.
that kind of a picture. And it's
Yes.
not something like, maybe in your bedroom that might signify some, struggle in your relationship. Maybe you don't want that.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
probably
keep that
not.
in the
Yeah,
office, or
yeah,
something like that.
yes. But it's always like good to keep it clean, keep it organized, and have everything in items indoors.
Hmm.
Like if you have a candle in your bedroom, it has to be two candles, two bedside tables. Everything has to be in twos.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you have one, then one is missing, so that's not a good affirmation either. So two bedside tables. everything in like in doors.
Stuff you just would never even think of.
I
That's so
know.
deep.
And yeah, the other thing is like if you have a space, it's a good place to have like something that spiritual that brings in like a little corner table that people normally put in whatever they believe in. A lot of people, they like to put in the Bible there,
Hmm.
the
Is
rosary.
is that why like hotels they want to put like a Gideon Bible in the drawer
I
next to
think
the?
so. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe that's why, because yeah, they do that, and some people put Buddha, some people put the Quran, some people put anything that is spiritual to you, that
Hmm.
brings you closer to God, closer to what you believe in. It's a good idea to put in your bedroom, in my opinion.
Now let me ask you this:
Okay.
I've what about books? Because I've got a lot of books, and a lot of them I have not read. And when I look at them, I feel overwhelmed.
Okay. Where do you keep them? Don't tell me in the bedroom.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
ashamed.
yeah, not a good idea in the bedroom, unless they're like, yeah, there is a way to cover them, because like it all goes to your subconscious mind, too many books.
Sure.
So talking about books, I have always been a book addict, like
Hmm.
for as long before I even learned the letters, like the ABCs. I always held books and looked at pictures for hours. So anyway, my brother taught me before even I go to KG, JK. No, no, in our days, there was no JK. It was just senior kindergarten. So before that, like long, my brother had taught me at home, I started reading. Anyway, I'm a book addict. So I had so many books. It was last summer time because of COVID. I'm working from home.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many books I sent to Salvation Army? 140 books.
Wow.
Yeah,
Not even so. This is a great question.
yeah.
So we have half price books. Are you familiar with that?
No, what
Okay,
is
so
that?
it's I'm sure they have maybe something like that where you're at. It's basically like a used bookstore where you can go, you can take your books and you can sell your
Yeah.
books.
Oh,
Is that something that because we were talking earlier about clothes or things that I don't imagine necessarily the books have a negative energy to them, right? Like is it,
no,
quote
they
unquote
don't have negative.
okay to sell your books and get money to buy other books or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you can do
okay.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I donated them because for the last, like, I don't know how many years now, close to 20 years, I focused on spiritual books, on leadership books, on personal
Mhm.
development books. Before I
Sure.
used to read all kinds. I'm huge into natural health.
Mhm.
I read that up until now. I am huge into natural health, and
Mhm.
I read about those. And I read a lot of fiction in my younger days. As of today and until the day I die, there is one author of fiction books that I love and I will read is John Grisham.
Mm.
Do you know, have you read
I,
his books?
I'm trying to
He
think.
is a lawyer and
Yeah, I
his
don't think I
books
have.
are absolutely amazing. So
Mm.
I always, when a new book comes out and I didn't know about it, one of my colleagues at work, they would come in, they go, "Oh, Gab, your boyfriend has a new book out. We just saw it at Chapters
Your
Indigo."
boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what they call him. Yeah, because I love him so much. Like I
Sure.
love his books. Yeah, your boyfriend has a new book out. Did you know? And except for John Grisham, I don't really read fiction anymore. I
Mhm.
am at that part of my life right now, the time like that I am huge into spirituality, into personal growth, into
Mhm.
leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did get rid, including some of the personal development that I read once, and I know I would never repeat them. All those 140, I could not believe I had all those sitting there, like,
Mhm.
so yeah. But there are books that are worth keeping and worth repeating, like Think and Grow Rich, like The Science of
Sure.
Getting Rich, like Ask and It's Given.
Mhm.
There are there are so many books that is worth every now and then going back and reading them.
Sure. And I can like I know even for myself just even if I don't read the book, I like having it sit out so that I can be reminded, remember
Yeah.
the great lesson that you learned from this book,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Um, wow. So do you find then that, let's say, for example, somebody comes to you, they want to work with you for decluttering. Is it a sort of an approach where you work on both things at the same time? So, for example, you would maybe go through their home and then, you'd say, okay, what is this here for? And then talk about maybe the spiritual implications. Or do you start with a spiritual thing first and then, you know what I'm saying? So, like, what would be your process, your approach there?
Yeah, well, it depends. When I visit in person, like I'd like to walk in from the entrance and I like to stand there. Like I like to read, to feel the energy. And I'm very sensitive, so I do feel the energy. So I like to feel the energy. Is it heavy or is it light? There are homes, like they have this $1 million furniture homes, multi-millionaires, but you walk in, you don't feel the love. You know what I'm talking about? You
Oh,
don't.
totally, totally.
Yeah. And then there are homes who are so simple. You walk in, you just feel so light and so happy. There is a lot of love in the place. So I
Yeah.
feel like, so I'm a feeler, so I do that. And in most cases, I would take the person's birth date,
Okay.
because for feng shui, according to your birthday, then I would tell you which one is your lucky corner, which corner is your lucky, your health corner, and which one is your abundance, which one is your relationship. Based on those and what items to put, I do that. But generally, not always necessarily I need that. I just walk in and I feel and I see immediately, like I would know what has to be moved to where. So yeah, and I do by video as well, and I teach. I do webinars and I do,
Got it.
now it's only webinars, but I used to do live workshops before, but now
Sure.
it's just webinars, yeah.
Can you sense the energy of a place if you, like, say, for example, if I were to take you on a virtual tour of my home, or do you have to physically be there present?
I think virtually it's mostly like knowing if certain things are not placed in the right place. That's how I feel it. It's not the same as when you are in person.
Sure.
But by doing virtual, like I normally like to the person to show me right from the entrance door, because I need to see. So right from the entrance, that's how I know. But I can't say like I can read energy. Like if someone is like a hypocrite, trust me, I know. If
Got it.
someone is lying to my face, I know. If someone is genuine, I know.
Wow.
Even now, like even by
Like,
Zoom, I know.
sure. Like,
So
you're
yeah,
reading
it's
me like a
tough.
book, and you're like, Steve, you're. I gotta be honest with you, but
Oh God, yeah.
you're sick, man.
I know. No, no.
Well, it's kind of funny because I'm like, what do you think of all these guitars on the wall?
I love them
That's
because
what's going through
like,
my mind.
yeah, music is like in our blood, in our family. I could have been a dancer, but not a singer. I don't have the voice for it, but I used to be. I had my days when it comes to dancing. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's so
no,
awesome.
singing, no. But yeah, I would love, for me, it is piano. One of my dreams before I die is I really would love to be really good at playing the piano.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's great. I mean, just music is such a wonderful thing. Great energy. I get the feeling, I get the sense that, well, let me ask you a question first. And that is, have you ever dealt with a client where you've come in and you've sort of pointed out some things and they're kind of met with like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just expecting you to kind of help me straighten up the place. I wasn't expecting you to be reading my soul, kind of a thing, or reading the energy. Has that ever been a situation for you, or are people aware of that when you come in?
Yeah, I had a lady who was really got mad at me because I told her like she had her bedroom, she only had one bedside table. She was divorced, okay, understandable. So and then she had in front of her bed was this shelf that was stuffed with old boots, shoes, some of them torn, some of them filthy. And as soon as I walked in, like, I just felt like this, I don't know, I cringed. I told her, what is this? How could you put this like you sleep? You go to sleep looking at this. You're not even supposed to have a shoe shelf in your bedroom. Well, I don't have any other place. I told her, yes, you do. You just showed me that there is a space over there. She was not very happy that I told her that. I told her, why do you need like a dozen boots? Some of them were like really old. She goes to me, I don't know, I have difficulty of letting go. She was not very happy with me. And you know what? I had to tell her the truth, whether she liked it or not. Then it's up to her to take action or not.
Certainly.
And then once I went home and I wrote a nice long email. That's what I do with most of my clients. Like, I wrote a nice long email and I told her, this is a good place, and please, this remove, you will see the energy will be different once you move these items, and get rid of this and this and that. I sent her a very long email. Yeah, there are people who don't take it.
Certainly, yeah, I would imagine. In any, whether it comes to decluttering or with anything, if you start pointing out some things, some more, or just getting into a zone where they might not feel comfortable, they're going to, put up the guards and such. Wow.
But you can't make everybody like this thing, right? Like, so some people, they will immediately take action and make the changes. Some people won't. So it's a choice they have to make, right?
Yeah. Gaby, I'm so grateful we're having this conversation, because I'm thinking of it in context of the Dream Highway and, going after your dreams. And of course, everybody knows, if you've ever been on a highway where there's, I just imagining like driving down a highway and having just debris all over the road. It's very difficult
It's
to
very
move
difficult
forward.
Yeah.
And so I could see how this is such an incredibly important area of people's lives, especially what you mentioned earlier about this idea that if you're holding on to things, then you're not allowing for new things to come in.
Yeah, you're not.
That's what, right? And that's what the Dream Highway is all about, is just we're moving forward, making progress towards our dreams and our goals. And wow. I feel like, okay, this is our introduction. We have to kind of bring this to a close, unfortunately, but I feel like this is just an introduction.
Yes.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Let's maybe just wrap it up with, is there anything else that you would tell somebody or encourage somebody who's wanting to go after their dreams? What would they do to start moving forward with decluttering? I guess is the question that's coming to me.
I know. Okay, so we're 2020 is almost over, and it has been not an easy year for a lot of humans. So this is a good time to let go of what does not serve you. It's a good time to get rid of stuff that you don't use, you don't need, you don't love, and give it a blessing and donate, because a lot of people will be so happy using or purchasing what you just donated. And then it's a good time also to declutter your mind, read empowering books, listen to empowering podcasts, listen to empowering videos, watch empowering videos. Surround yourself with positive people who uplift you. Another thing is that use your time wisely. Don't waste your time sitting in front of the TV for 6-7 hours, because it does not serve you. Try to watch the news less, because there is nothing good in the news. Use the time, write a book, one chapter, one page a day. In a few months, you will have written a book. Share your story and declutter your relationships. That is huge.
Yeah, you know what? Talk a little bit about that before we get going here. What does that look like?
Which one?
The decluttering your relationships.
Yes. So we have the habit of saying, I was one of those people. Oh, but I knew her from my childhood. Although she always, whenever we talk, when we finish, I'm always in a negative energy. There are people who come visit your home, but these people, they have no good intention, but their family, they could be in-laws, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody, but this person is coming in, but they don't have a good intention, or like they don't want to see you succeed. Don't hold on to them. The secret is to wish these people health, happiness. Always, when you meditate, when
Yeah.
you're in alpha level, say X. I wish you health. I wish you love. I wish you happiness. I wish to hear good news about you, but you don't serve me in this lifetime. I want you as far away from me as possible. I got rid of 12 people doing just that.
Wow.
They stopped calling. I stopped picking up the phone at the beginning. They stopped calling. I don't care if they're family anymore. I don't care if whoever they are, if they don't support me, if they don't put me in a good place, if they don't wish me well, why am I putting up with that?
Yeah.
So declutter your relationship. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in you, who are there for you, who make you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, I think everybody here in the Dream Highway community, we've got some work cut out for us.
Yeah.
We've got some things to declutter, but I think it's really exciting to think about that and to think about going into 2021, even with understanding the fact that we've been through a very difficult year,
Oh my God, yes.
that let's not make 2021 any more difficult by holding on to things that are pulling us down. So, Gaby, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this. I so want to continue our conversation, but we'll wrap it up for now.
We'll do it. And I
Yeah,
want you on my own podcast.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. My
I'd love
podcast is
that.
called The Grace, Peace, and Balance Radio Show by Gaby Abdelgadir. So I'm going to invite you, and I want you in my podcast.
Okay, sounds great. And I will just say real quick that that's the Grace, Peace, Balance. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
And that's also the title of your book, which
My
is
first book. Yeah.
your
My
first book,
very
which
first
is
book.
awesome #1 seller. So I'll put that in the show notes so people have access to that. Gaby, thank you so much for joining me today. I've loved this time together. We'll
Yeah,
talk
me
soon,
too.
okay?
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. It's been an honor, Steve. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, bye-bye.
Take care.